My girlfriend lied all week, snuck off to a casino with 3 guys, admitted she'd rather lie than fight, and now she's telling me to just get over it. And I honestly don't know if I'm being gaslit, used, or just finally seeing the truth. Right now, I honestly feel like I'm losing my mind, and I have no one in my life I can talk to about this without feeling like I'm dragging them into something they don't deserve to be part of. My girlfriend, 24 female, and I, 25 male, have been together for almost 2 years. We've had arguments before, sure, but nothing like this. This fight has dragged on for a week, and it's like we're both sitting in the rubble of it, staring at each other, not sure how to move forward. I keep going over everything in my head, wondering what I'm doing wrong, why I can't just drop it, why she can't just understand what I'm trying to say, why this small thing somehow turned into a giant emotional landmine. Here's the backstory because it actually does matter. A little over a month ago, my girlfriend quit her job. It was a toxic environment, and I supported her 100%. She found a new job quickly, but there was a gap where her finances were tight. We don't live together, so she still had rent to manage, and one night she called me crying because she didn't have enough to cover it. She asked me if I could spot her for the month. I didn't hesitate. I sent it over immediately. It wasn't a small amount, but I didn't care about that. She told me she'd pay me back when she got her first paycheck at the new job. I didn't ask her to pay it back. She insisted. I took her word because I trust her. Or, at least I did. 2 weeks later her payday came and went. Nothing. No mention of it, no update, no "hey, I'm short right now, but I'll get you soon." Just nothing. I let a few days pass and figured I'd mention it gently, just to check in. When I brought it up, she got a little irritated, not angry but annoyed, like me bringing it up was stressful or inconvenient. She ended up sending me about a quarter of it, and paid for dinner. I didn't push it. I hate asking her for money. I know she's been overwhelmed, and I didn't want to add to her stress. Honestly, I decided I would just let it go. She does a lot for me too. She drives far to see me, helps me around my place, takes care of things without me having to ask. I wasn't going to nickel and dime her, or make her feel like a burden. I figured, okay, whatever, it'll work itself out. Then came the casino situation. Her friend invited us to go gambling for the weekend. It would be a group thing, her friend, her friend's boyfriend, and 3 other guy friends I didn't know. The room was already paid for, so we wouldn't have to worry about that. On paper, it sounded fun. I said, maybe. And I meant it. Later that night, when it was just the 2 of us talking privately, I told her honestly, "Babe, I don't think we should go." And I explained why, calmly, logically. We have a trip planned in January, Christmas is coming up, her next rent is around the corner again, and we've got a list of expenses we've been talking about. Sure, we could go, but it didn't seem financially smart to go throw money into slot machines and drink overpriced drinks when we're trying to be responsible. I wasn't telling her no. I wasn't forbidding her from going. I wasn't trying to control her or ruin her plans. I was trying to be responsible for both of us, for our future plans, our budget, our stability. I thought she'd get that. She didn't. The second the words left my mouth, she shut down. Then she got defensive. Then she got annoyed. She said I was being negative, boring, controlling, always trying to save money like it's the only thing I care about. She said she deserved one fun weekend, that she's been stressed with her new job, that I never just let loose with her. And that's when everything spiraled. Because it wasn't just about the casino anymore. Suddenly, I'm the guy who doesn't want her to have fun. I'm the guy who ruins plans. I'm the guy who's always stressed about something. I'm the guy who's making her feel guilty for wanting to go out. It became this giant blow-up where every insecurity she has and every frustration she's been holding and got dumped on me all at once. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there stunned because the only thing I was trying to communicate was, hey, maybe now isn't the best time to gamble. And underneath all of this in the back of my mind is that rent money. The way she brushed it off. The way she suddenly had money to gamble, to drink, to party, but somehow didn't have enough to even bring up the loan she swore she'd repay. And when I tried to bring that up, gently, she blew up even more. Suddenly I was holding it over her head. Suddenly I was keeping score. Suddenly I was making her feel like a bad girlfriend. I wasn't trying to do any of that. I wasn't even angry about the money. I was hurt that she didn't communicate. Hurt that she snapped at me for even mentioning it. Hurt that she twisted it into me being controlling when I've never once told her what she can or cannot do. When she said, "We're about to leave," my entire stomach dropped straight through the floor. I didn't yell. I didn't curse. I didn't even react right away. I just sat there in silence, phone pressed to my ear, staring at nothing, feeling this cold wave of realization wash over me. Everything I had suspected all week, everything she insisted wasn't happening, was happening exactly the way I feared. She was going. She planned to go. She had been planning to go. And she was only telling me as they were walking out the door. I finally managed to ask, "Are you serious? You're going now?" After everything we talked about. She got defensive immediately, like clockwork. She said, "I told you I might go. And you said it was fine. You're acting like I lied." I didn't know whether to laugh or lose my mind. She hadn't told me anything. She had been dodging, changing her story, giving vague answers, making excuses. She didn't tell me she was going. She told me nothing until the car was literally leaving the driveway. I told her, "Yeah, I said it was fine if you kept me in the loop. You said you weren't planning on going." And she hit me with the classic, "Well, I wasn't planning on it until today." Which I knew was bullshit. I'd known since Monday. I knew from the tone, the weird distance, the sudden insistence that we do our own thing. I knew from the way she wouldn't give me a straight answer about anything. But it still hurt to hear her pretend like this was a last-minute decision instead of something she intentionally hid from me. Then I said the part that had been sitting inside my chest all week. "You realize I wouldn't care if you were going with your friend and her boyfriend. It's the fact you're staying in a hotel with 3 dudes I've never met while you owe me rent money, and you didn't even tell me you were still going. How do you not understand why that bothers me?" She immediately said, "Why are you making this about money? I told you I'd pay you back." I swear, something in me snapped in a quiet way. Not anger, not even disappointment, just this numb exhaustion. Because it wasn't about the money. It was about everything that came with it. The responsibility, the trust, the respect, the idea that if you're struggling so hard that you need someone to spot your rent, maybe the weekend you gamble hundreds of dollars at a casino with random guys is not the one time to suddenly act like you're carefree. I didn't say that, though. I didn't want to fight. I didn't want to escalate. I didn't want this to become another screaming match. I just sighed and said, "Do whatever you want. I can't stop you." And she said, in the flattest, coldest tone, "Okay then. I'll text you later." And she hung up. No reassurance. No, "I love you." No, "You have nothing to worry about." No attempt to ease the situation. Just click. I stared at my phone for a long time after that. I don't know how long. Long enough for my food to go cold. Long enough that I started spiraling through every insecure thought a person can have. Why was she hiding this? Why couldn't she just be honest? Why was I the only one trying to be responsible? Why did she act like my feelings were an annoyance instead of something that mattered? Why was she choosing a casino weekend with random guys over spending time with me? My brain wouldn't shut up. And then another thought hit me, one that made me feel physically sick. If I hadn't called her, would she even have told me? Or would she have spent the whole weekend pretending she was busy, coming home Sunday night acting like nothing happened? I don't know which answer hurts more. Hours passed. She didn't text. She didn't call. She didn't even send a "made it safely" message. Radio silence. At some point I realized she didn't want me to come. That's why she didn't tell me until the last second. That's why she dodged the plans all week. That's why she acted like I was controlling or suffocating her. The narrative was easier than admitting she just didn't want me there. It's one thing to go out with friends. It's another thing to lie to your partner to go out with friends. And it's a whole different thing to lie, hide your plans, go to a casino, stay overnight in a hotel with 3 guys, while owing your boyfriend rent money and pretending like he's the one being unreasonable. After everything that happened, after the whole casino mess and the lying and the yelling, I really did try to slow down and process. I tried to look at it from her point of view, tried to understand where she was coming from. But the more I replay the entire thing, the more tangled it feels, like we're both holding different ends of a string that's been knotted so many times neither of us even remembers what the original fight was supposed to be about. I'll admit it. When she said, "We're about to leave," I lost my cool. I called her a liar. I shouldn't have said it the way I did, but in that moment it felt like the truth was punching me in the face. And what stung wasn't just that she lied. It was how easily she said it afterwards, almost casual, like she wasn't even ashamed of it. She said, "Yeah, I lied. I didn't want to fight. I'd rather lie than argue." That hit me harder than anything else she could have said. Because whether I've been perfect or not, whether I overreact sometimes or not, I never wanted to be someone she felt she had to lie to. She explained it like it was logic. Like it made sense. Like it was actually the right call. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there feeling like the ground shifted underneath me. She insisted she barely spent anything, that the money part shouldn't bother me because she only spent $5 on a slot machine. But it wasn't about the money by that point, it was about the principle. About the hiding. About the secrecy. About telling me for a whole week she was busy and doing her own thing while actually planning a trip she didn't want me to know about. About waiting until the car was backing out of the driveway to finally tell me the truth, and then acting like that counts as honesty. And yeah, I've been distant this week. I can't fake normal like she can. I can't turn my feelings on and off like a switch. She noticed, obviously, and the distance only pissed her off more. We talked tonight, if you can even call it talking. It felt more like trying to shovel the rubble of an argument that just keeps regenerating. She said she admitted the lie. What more do I want? She said the reason she lied is because I'm a stick in the mud, that I make things too serious, that she can't even bring things up without me overthinking or shutting it down. She told me she shouldn't have to lie, but also that the lie was circumstantial, like lying is fine as long as the reason makes sense to her in the moment.
I don't know how to respond to that.
I get what she's trying to say. She felt like I'd say no, and she wanted to go, so she took the easier route. But how am I supposed to build trust with someone who thinks lying is a problem-solving technique? How am I supposed to feel secure if she can justify lying anytime she wants to avoid discomfort? That doesn't feel like safety. That doesn't feel like partnership. That feels like walking into the ring with one hand tied behind my back. Still, she told me she's tired of talking about it, that I need to move on. That I'm dragging it out. That I'm making things worse. And maybe I probably am. I've been looping on this, replaying the whole sequence like a movie I can't turn off. I hate that I'm this stuck. I hate that I'm not just able to shake it off. I hate that she sees it as me being dramatic or controlling instead of me being hurt. And then there's the part she brought up that messed with my head. She said I put her in a position where she didn't feel comfortable communicating. That I always say no. That she feels suffocated. That she knew if she told me she wanted to go to the casino, I'd judge her or shut it down. And I can't lie, that part hurt because it made me second-guess everything. Am I really controlling? Am I the problem? Did I make the environment where lying felt safer than honesty? I don't think of myself as some strict, jealous partner. I don't forbid her from doing things. But maybe my tone or the way I stress about money or the way I analyze everything, maybe all of that made her feel cornered. The worst part is, I don't want to lose her over something like this. We've put 2 years into each other, into weekends together, trips together, long nights talking, long drives, meeting families, building routines. I don't want this to be the hill we die on. But right now it feels like we're talking 2 different languages. I'm talking about honesty and respect. She's talking about independence and not wanting to fight. I'm talking about trust. She's talking about moving on. And I don't know how to move on when she won't even sit with me in the same emotional space long enough to actually fix anything. I keep asking myself, how do I let it go? How do I trust again? Is lying okay if the intention wasn't malicious? How do I make her feel safe telling me things, instead of looking like the guy she has to sneak around?